All right, welcome back to the Puckheads. My name is Andrew Mcinnis, joined once again by Dana Lane. We're here to recap Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, the series heads back to Nashville for Game 6, where they've had an amazing record throughout the entire playoffs, but they kind of got beat down, Dana, by the Pittsburgh Penguins in Game 5 in Pittsburgh. So I guess welcome back to the show, Dana. We'll see how will the Nashville Predators respond after kind of getting beaten by the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Andrew, it's for 3.5, 4 months now, probably since the trade deadline, we've talked about the Pittsburgh Penguins and how much I like them. But there are a couple spots where I'm starting to like Nashville, and this is going to be one of them. And of course, Pittsburgh is going for their second Stanley Cup in as many years. It will be the first time in 19 seasons that a team has won back-to-back Stanley Cups, but I'm not ready to hand it to them yet. I think, Andrew, that I have a little bit of hope for Pekka Rinne. We have seen in the past where goaltenders have been pulled or have had bad games and have come back to play extremely well. You can't ignore the Nashville Predators' 9-1 record at Nashville. There's just something there that energizes this team to play better. So as we can see, we look at the current odds. The best odds available is Nashville minus $1.30. You can find that at Sports Interaction. But I also like the over in the game as well, where you are getting plus money, plus $1.15, and you can find that number at 5 dimes. But look, we know that Pittsburgh has done well against the Nashville Predators. In fact, they've won 11 out of their last 15 games against the Predators. But the problem is I still can't trust Pittsburgh on the road. In their last 5 games, or last 6 games, they've dropped 5 of them. So until that trend continues, and I guess we really won't get to see that until next year, I don't really want to be on the Pittsburgh side tomorrow night, because I think Nashville is going to give a much better showing of themselves than they did in Game 5. 3 playoff games have been decided so far by 6 goals or more, Andrew, and the team that has lost by 6 goals has come back to win the next game. So let's anticipate a much better effort from Nashville, and of course, in order to do that, they're going to have to stop that quick transition, especially the transition up the middle. I thought Pittsburgh was at their best at any time that I've seen them in this series at doing what they want to do. And Crosby was loose too many times up the middle, and I thought their transition was the key to their success, Andrew.
No, that's great stuff. I fully agree. For tonight, as far as the side goes, I'm going to stay equal. I'm not going to make a play, but I am all over the total. I think getting plus money with over 5.5, like you said, Dana, is just something that you have to take. I mean, it's too tempting to take. It's right there looking at me, and I see it as this game, even though the goaltenders are probably going to have a great game, and games like this, you think Pekka Rinne is going to bounce back. I think Murray is going to continue to kind of settle into his own and stay calm. I mean, the best thing about Murray, I find, is he's so good at just staying calm and poised and doesn't seem to get affected by anything going on around him. But again, I have to agree with your Nashville pick, basically just because on one standpoint that the trend for teams at home has just been doing so well. I mean, anyone that really doesn't even know anything about sports could come in and just check their home record and see, wow, I might as well back them tonight. But then again, you look at that record you looked at that score from last game, and you maybe think, wow, Pittsburgh kind of dominated them. Will the Nashville Predators respond? And I fully agree with you. I think that Pekka Rinne will bounce back. A lot of times, like you said, if goalies get pulled, it means something to them. It's more, it's the pride to come back, and it's a little bit of an extra jump. And I'm not saying that he needs that extra jump, but I'm just saying it's a little extra edge of motivation for them. And again, I can't go against this home trend. They're heading back to Nashville, probably the most electrifying building in this playoffs. It's a party in there. It's a party in Nashville. It looks like a soccer stadium. They have their chants. They're screaming and yelling. But the one thing about this series I've found, it's been so up and down. I mean, the way the media and sports books have been setting these trends, it's kind of ridiculous. One game everyone thinks one thing, next game everyone thinks one thing. One game, does Nashville have goaltender problems? The next game, does Pittsburgh have goaltending problems? It's been so back and forth. But again, at the start of this series, I said it would go deep, and I still think it will. So I will have a slight lean on Nashville tonight, but my official play is the over 5.5 at plus 110. I'm just loving it. And the plus money is fantastic, and I'm all over it. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the first period will be a little bit quiet, but I think the second period will be the breakout period.
Yeah, I understand. I completely agree. And I also liked, there were some good things that you could take away from Game 5. I thought Matthias Ekholm and James Neal were pretty physical. I think they have to continue to do that. The other thing, too, is Pittsburgh going to get some east-west passing? And by east-west passing, I think that they put themselves in a position for success, because we have seen, and they pointed out in the broadcast about Pekka Rinne, when he goes east-west from post to post, he always is mostly leaving that 5-hole wide open, and that's been a problem for him throughout the playoffs. I think that if Nashville can clog the middle up and keep him hugging the post, one post or the other, I think he's going to be much more effective. But when he has to go from side to side, I think that's when Pekka Rinne is the least effective. And again, going back to the middle of the ice, Sidney Crosby looked the best that I've seen him in this playoffs. And of course, the Sherry, Crosby, and Gensel line completely dominated Aberg and Sessons and Forsberg, and that's something that they hadn't done all playoff series. I think Pittsburgh is feeling it, but it's still not enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to go against this home trend, which I know is kind of a simplistic way of looking at things, but once it gets to 9-1, Andrew, that's not something that I can just disregard. So we will take advantage of Nashville, even if they lose the game, but the game goes over the total, which even if they do lose this game, you have a great chance of going over the total, because they'll be in desperation mode at the end. That could give you maybe 1 or 2 empty netters, which will give you a 1-1 record, and you'll just lose a tiny bit of juice. But let's go with Nashville in the over in this, and we're hoping that Nashville comes out with their best effort.
All right, great stuff, Dana. So we're both on the over at 5.5, and you're taking the Preds on the money line. It's been a pleasure doing these shows with you, and possibly we'll continue if it goes to a Game 7. Yeah,
pleasure's all mine. I hope it ends quickly so I can get a haircut. My playoff hair is getting out of control a little bit. It doesn't look good when you're 45.
All right, well, that's been our little show here today, but keep in mind we will be back for at least one more, and I'll be joining Ian Cameron Monday at 12 Eastern for a kind of recap of the entire NHL season. Remind you guys to check out sbrodds.com and sportsbookreview.com for all the latest odds and info.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.